Good evening and welcome to the first race of the Invictus Cup, sponsored by Nail Coat Hall and partnered by Gridfinder. You are welcome to at the first race at the Circuit Jules Villeneuve at Canada. With me tonight is Craig. How you doing, mate? You alright?
Doing very well, Malc, thank you.
Nice one. This is the first group, Group 1 for Race 1 at Canada, as we said, but with Invictus Cup, Craig. So tell us about the format before we get straight into the live scenes. What's it all about? What's the format of the Cup itself?
Well, the format is just the opportunity for drivers of various pace to come together and compete together under equal performance. We've got a selection of 10 teams who are going to compete to be the ultimate winner in the final in a few weeks. So each team will consist of a Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3 and Tier 4 driver from the F1, F2, F3 and F4 leagues. So we do have a driver from each tier and they'll be competing and hopefully secure points for their team to progress into the knockout phase and face teams from Group 2.
Absolutely. So while we're talking about the groups itself, we're going to have a look at the standings, just get your head round of all the teams and all the drivers itself. So we've got Foxy Red, Davey 646, Nelly 295 and Piley Trev in Team 1. XL, Smoking Aces, Pass and Tinnis in Team 2. Marcus, Vojtech, Pancakes and Nigel Gash who are on Team 3. Jack Hickey, Luke Bailey, Delange and Tim Mans for Team 4 as well. So that's going to be a quite interesting teams for those three races of the Invictus Cup. So looking at those drivers while we go to the live season now, who do you think will produce some good racing as well as good battles with the teams as well?
Well, I think it's hard not to look at the Tier 1 drivers coming from the F1 League, such as Foxy Red, XL, JCol and Finn Marcus, but Jack Hickey, who is recently new to the F2 League, has been in stupendous form, securing multiple podiums at the tail end of the Formula 2 season. So certainly a driver to look out for down in Ferrari, who is currently on an outlap, but certainly don't rule out drivers such as Tinnis Optionale, who is, although a Formula 4 driver, can certainly show Formula 3 pace. So it'll be good to see how each tier driver competes against each other, but also working together as part of a team.
Absolutely, and that is absolutely crucial in this Invictus Cup. So, but these drivers who, like as you mentioned, Tinnis, Jack Hickey, who's been absolutely outstanding on his produce in the F2 League just at the end of the season, but is there any drivers that you have seen tonight, do you think there will be a bit of a shock that you would not expect in the top half tonight?
Just looking at the form of Nelly 295, who is the current Formula 4 Drivers' Champion, I think he could be a dark horse and may actually challenge some of the F2 drivers. But we do know that Eric Pancakes, driving for Renault this evening, is certainly a quick driver on his day, but I think it would be hard to rule out any of the Tier 1 drivers dominating the top half of the timing grid, as we should get the opening time from Nelly. It's a 1:08.9, followed by Tinnis Optionale, who's a 1:09.3, so Tinnis a little bit off the pace compared to Nelly, who was in the same league as him last season.
No, absolutely not. But hopefully he'll try and get that oomph back into the race itself. But we're just watching Nigel Gash, and he's just invalidated his lap on the meantime. So it's only, from what I can see at the minute, Nigel Gash and Tim Mans are the only ones that have gambled on the mediums, but they've just invalidated their laps. But look at those times as well.
Malc, And that could be a little bit of an installation lap, just getting a feel for the grip levels of the circuit, just winding themselves up in qualifying to go on to the softs nearer the end when the grip levels are at its highest. But just want to refer back to Jack Hickey. Surprising lap there for him, a 109.2, slightly behind Nelly, who, as I said earlier, is the current Formula 4 Drivers' Champion, but JCol tops the timing charts with a 108.5. So Nelly showing some great pace, only 4/10 off provisional pole.
Absolutely, and it just needs to try, and I think he might have had a bit of an issue during this qualifying lap, but just watching Marcus now, he's just crossed the line with a 109.278, so 7/10 off P1 by JCol, so that's quite an impressive time from JCol.
Yeah, certainly impressive opening gambit there from JCol, but bear in mind these drivers have had a few weeks off from the end of the season, so maybe just a few laps to shake off the old rust there as Fine Marcus locks up for Alpha Tauri. He'll be looking to get a little bit closer to JCol, putting a little bit pressure on him. He won't be too happy with fourth at the moment with Jack Hickey and Nelly ahead.
Absolutely, and as you said earlier on, we got each driver from each tier, so this is quite like saying, well, this is going to be under a lot of pressure from the drivers who were in the top, pretty much in the top tiers last season, and try not to get outdone by the guys who produced well last season in the lower tiers. Great.
Yeah, absolutely, Malc, and there's a little bit of pressure on JCol, Smoking Aces and Tennis Optional. They're down a teammate, IRL PS, who was unable to make it this evening, but Finn Marcus and Eric Pancake's Nitrogash are also having to produce the goods down a teammate as well, as is Jack Hickey and Tinmans, who are missing Luke Bailey and Delaney. So there are drivers missing from tonight, and it's going to come down to the drivers that are here to maximise the results for the opening race of the group stage and putting them in prime position for the second and third races over the next 2 weeks.
Absolutely, I can't wait for it, to be fair. I just cannot wait to see how these drivers can put under a lot of pressure and get their team, for themselves and their team into the next stage of the Invictus Cup. That's going to be the most crucial point of it all, and if they don't do it, then they'll be under a lot of pressure coming into the new season, which is we're waiting for the new game, which is in F1 2021 as well. So, but watching Dave in 46 now, coming up to down the straight on the third sector. He's just doing his out lap now on the soft tyres. So what we haven't mentioned about actually is the track itself in more detail at the circuit Jules Villeneuve. Do you like the track in more detail, Craig?
I think it's a good old school track where any mistake you're going to get punished by either going off into the gravel, the grass, or worse yet, coming into contact from the barriers. Just want to have a quick announcement from the race report there. We're hearing that it's going to be a wet race start, then transitioning into dry, so I don't imagine any driver will be qualifying on the medium tyre, so we should see very good representative times on the softs, as Tennis Optional on his second hot lap at the moment, just coming up to the chicane at the back straight there, down into turn 13, 14, watching not to invalidate a lap. The track limits are very harsh here in Malc, and I think that's maybe just one thing that takes something away from this circuit.
Absolutely, but especially at the Wall of Champions as well, that chicane at the Wall of Champions, these guys are going to have to be spot on, because if you go too much right, you can invalidate. If you go too much left, you can bounce, and you will lose that momentum into getting out of that last chicane and push on to finish that good qualifying and all try and get into that top three as quickly as possible. So at the moment, JCol is in pole position with 108.563. We've got Nelly, who's in second with 108.943. Jack Hickey is in third. You've got Marcus is in fourth. Tinus is in fifth. Poddy Trev is in sixth. Eric Pancakes is in seventh. Smoking Ace is in 8th, Nitric Ash is in 9th, Tim Mans is in 10th, and Davey46 is in 11th place with 9 minutes left to go, Craig.
Yeah, we'll see Jack Hickey on an outlap just coming through the hairpin at turn 10, looking to take care of those soft tyres, not wanting to take too much life off them or overheat them, as he's looking to improve on 3rd place. He'll be wanting to put a little bit of pressure on JCol on that run down towards turn 1 as JCol starting his opening lap. Oh, a little bit of traffic as Nelly was coming out the pits there, so being put off a little bit there by the Williams, but just coming through the chicane at turn 3 and 4. It goes purple sector 1, so he's not lost too much time there, Malc, and at the moment he's got a little bit of traffic as he's approaching turns 6 and 7. But could he actually get close enough there for a bit of the slipstream up the back straight with DRS as well, opening up that gap a little bit further to Nelly, currently sitting in 2nd.
Absolutely, he needs to get a little bit closer to try and get that slipstream on as much as possible, but it looked like he did alright in that 2nd sector. He's still purple on the 2nd sector, but we're just watching, I think that was Tim Mans just warming up, getting back into the pits, and JCol just getting past the World Champions down the straight now, and he has done a 108.217. That is a pole position. He has improved by 3/10, Craig. He has improved by 3/10.
Oh, and commiserations here for Jack Hickey. Looked as if he was on an improved lap, just invalidated it at the final chicane. So he'll have to get back to the pits, put on a fresh set of boots and try again.
Absolutely unlucky for Jack Hickey, as I just saw the aftermath of his invalidated lap at the chicane up near the World Champions. Just watching Nelly now. Nelly is 300 quicker on his best time. So he's 300 quicker on his best time, but not purple. Not purple at the minute, and he's just coming through. I feel like this part of the section, which is turn 6 and 7, you can easily cut that corner and you can easily invalidate so much so. And I will not be surprised, Craig, as you said earlier on, I will not be surprised if we get any penalties tonight. I'll be very surprised if we do get, well, I say surprised if we don't, but I wouldn't be surprised if we do get penalties tonight.
Yeah, it's definitely a fine line, that gamble you take for attacking the corner, which can easily lead to an invalidation, as we saw with Jack Hickey. But very nice exit there from Nelly out of the final corner, and it is a 1:08.5 within 3/10 again of JCol. So it's clear Nelly has geared himself up for this competition and has been practicing, and he's been very impressive so far.
Absolutely, and Marcus actually has just got ahead of Nelly to move up to 2nd place with a 108.409. That is a really, really good time from Marcus out of nowhere. Nearly perfect top pole position, but missing out by 2/10, Craig. Only missing out by 2/10.
Yeah, and I'm sure we'll have another qualifying run from them at the end of the lap as David actually invalidates his qualifying lap there just out the exit of sector 1. So David either has to lift, conserve fuel in ERS and go again, or opt to return to the pits and put on a fresh set of soft tyres.
Hopefully we'll try and get some more fresh tyres, but at the moment Smoking Aces and Nitricus are the only ones not set a time yet, with 5 minutes left to go in this qualifying lap of the Invictus Cup, which is sponsored by now Code Hall and also partnered by Grid Finder as well. So check them out, guys. Please check them out. Massive stuff. So Craig, with the qualifying kind of settled a little bit, do you think there'll be last minute shocks from the back of the grid to put themselves into probably a 107s? Are we going to see a 107s tonight?
I think looking at JCol's performance, it's certainly possible to get into the 107s, but that just depends on getting the tyres in the window as well as track conditions as we wait for the first time from Smoking Aces a 109.4. That puts him just behind Tennis Optional on the third row of the grid. Probably not where he wanted to be, Malc. He may have time to get back to the pits, but he's actually going to have to get a shift on to get back into the garage, put a fresh set of softs and try again. But I'm sure that JCol, Finn Marcus and Nelly will be just counting down the moment when they leave the garage for their final run. But Jack Hickey, he'll want to put that mistake from invalidating his lap out the final corner behind him and hopefully challenge for provisional pole, or at least get on the front row of the grid.
We'll hope so anyway, Craig. I think that's the main goal, to be fair. But just watching Polytrev now, we will talk about some of the drivers that have been producing either good or who have had on-off season, shall we say. But Polytrev, for me personally, in the F3 League, he has been one that was outstanding in that Racing Point last season in F3. But with Polytrev in 7th place at the moment with 109.4, do you expect Polytrev to hit the top 5 at the moment or not?
It is possible, and it looks as like he feels he can as well. He's just coming on his outlap, and he'll want to get ahead of Tennis and Smoking Aces and possibly put a little bit of pressure on the quicker drivers here. But JCol taking it very gentle on his outlap. He's certainly not wanting to overheat those tyres, saving the best grip for the qualifying lap. He had a little bit of traffic ahead of him. I believe that was Jack Hickey, so he won't want to catch too much of the turbulent air behind him. And it's a fine balance between how close you get to the car ahead if you want a little bit of a tow. But JCol put a little bit of temperature on the exit of the hairpin, a little bit of tension in the rear tyres there, and he's just gearing himself up for that final qualifying run as we count down towards 2 minutes remaining in the qualifying session.
Absolutely, so he's just trying to get himself warmed up and he's getting passed into the chicane, nearly hitting the wall of champions as well, so he's going to be absolutely pushing on massively. So here we go, JCol could be on for hitting the 107s or the high 107s. That'll be an absolute immense stuff. 1 minute 43 left on the qualifying. Can anyone try and stop JCol for pole position? At the moment it looks like Marcus could be on for like nearly by 2/10, but that's the big question of it all. Needs to try and push on, but we got JCol just coming up through the second sector now. Needs to be pushing on. But who are you watching so far, Craig?
I'll just right on board with Jack Hickey there as he was going past sector 1. He is up 1.5, 10.6. JCol up 700. Oh, goes a little bit deep at the hairpin. How much time has he cost him? He's lit up the rear tyres a little bit there, and he's left it out there, Malc. He's backed off, so that could leave him vulnerable to Finn Marcus behind. But Jack Hickey just coming up to the line. Can he improve on 5th? He moves up to 4th with a 108.6. Finn Marcus just coming up towards the chicane. It turns 8 and 9, so Finn Marcus will see that pole position is up for grabs. Can he get it done?
We'll have to wait and see. Could it be the perfect finish? Get that, Craig? Perfect finish for Marcus to try and push on to get onto pole position in first. But at the moment it's only 2/10. So he looked like he's had a perfect corner at the hairpin, so he's just trying to see out on the DRS straight. Now coming up to the chicane, he needs to try and push on. This is tense stuff. He's not invalidated. Nelly has retired from the qualifying, and now Marcus! Oh!
And he gets it done.
Brilliant! Absolutely brilliant from Marcus with a 107.895. I expected JCol to hit the first one to hit the 107s, but I wonder if JCol going to go for it again. Just trying to see. But this is all. Qualifying has now stopped, guys. Qualifying has now stopped. He is going for it. Oh my God! Here we go. This is going to be close. Yes!
Oh,
brilliant!
JCol pulls out the bag right at the end of the session. 2 tenths up in front, Malc is under pressure. And I cannot see anyone snatching pole from him. JCol should take pole at the start of the Canadian Grand Prix. So a great start for JCol.
Absolutely, and what a qualifying lap from JCol. Absolutely brilliant from XL. Brilliant stuff. It's just absolutely immense. But like I said, the clouds are getting darker now, Craig, as you mentioned about. We will have some rain, if I remember it right. Pardon me, but yes.
Yeah, reports are that we're going to have a wet start, Malc, and it'll come down to when we see the transition over to the dry tyre. So, who's going to manage the intermediates, or are we going to have full wets? That is the question. Who's going to actually be able to master the Canadian circuit or the circuit Gilles Villeneuve under wet conditions, looking after tyres before we hopefully get the cars up to full race pace under dry conditions?
Hopefully so. But this is what we love about the racing in the F1 leagues as well, Craig. You just do not know what to expect, especially in the wet conditions, because all the forms that they've had in the dry is completely gone now, so they've got to be absolutely spot on. So here we go, guys. We're just waiting for the race classification, for the qualifying classification, and then we'll be able to slowly get on to the start of the race for the Invictus Cup. But yeah, Craig, looking at that qualifying, I'm being really impressed with Marcus as well as JCol as well tonight.
Yeah, it'd be good to see what both of these talented drivers can do under wet conditions. If they'll maybe just play it safe, they'll play the long game under these challenging conditions, or will we see a straight out fight between those two drivers who would want to secure the race victory for their teams?
Absolutely, and I'm quite interested to see how these guys can now produce the goods. And it looks like we might have an intermediate. I believe the way it looks at the moment at the Canadian Grand Prix, at the circuit Gilles Villeneuve as well. It looks like it's going to be a tricky start for these drivers tonight, Craig.
Yeah, a little bit greasy on the circuit. I think you're right, Malc. The rain doesn't look too heavy, not a lot of standing water. So I anticipate that we should start on intermediate tyres, and hopefully it won't be too long before we have dry conditions. We can go on to the drier compounds and hopefully see these guys going full attack on track.
Well, I hope so. That'll be immense stuff. If you are joining the stream, good evening to you all. Hope everyone's all going well. And like I said, good evening and welcome to the first race of the first time ever that we've done for the Invictus Cup. Sponsored by now Code Hall, and also partnered by Grid Finder as well. This is the Group 1 Race 1. So Group 2 Race 1 is on Wednesday night. Correct me if I'm wrong, Craig, but that is what...
No, absolutely, Malc. Wednesday evening is when Group 2 will be taking to the circuit, and then we'll have it vice versa next week. So Group 1 will be racing on Monday nights next week, and Group 1 will be racing on Wednesday. Then back to normal approach for the third and final group race of the knockout phase.
Absolutely, but you've had a look at the teams. You looked at the drivers. I know we said briefly about the drivers' individuals, but is there a team that you may think should do well in the knockout stages, or do you think there'll be a bit of a shock as well?
Well, that's the thing, Malc. This is a complete unknown. Most of these drivers have not raced together, so it's a complete uncertainty on how they'll be working together during this race and the next two races, or even if they've had the opportunity to discuss strategy ahead of tonight's race. So hopefully we'll see some of that coming on track tonight, but I'm hoping for an exciting race.
Hopefully so, but it looks like everyone's all set, ready to go. So that we're going to have the formation lap and just get themselves prepped up and ready to go. But if you like what you see so far, guys, please make sure you like and subscribe to the Invictus Racing League YouTube channel for all of the live races of the Invictus Cup. So check them out, guys. And also, we are aiming for at least 10 likes tonight. It would be a massive help for Invictus Racing League. 35 laps at the circuit Jules Villeneuve. And obviously we're intermediates. The tyre wear is going to be pretty much up to, well, as you can see on the predicted pit stop strategy, as we see on the screen, lap 17 to 20 could be on for the intermediates to stop if it is going to be a full-on intermediate race. But at the moment, this is in. Can you imagine racing tonight in these conditions, Craig?
Nothing better than it. It's a very big challenge, but I do imagine that we will see the one stop as soon as we get to the dry conditions. If it's early in the race, I do envisage that a lot of these drivers will just throw on a set of hards and go to the end of the race. If it's a little bit longer, then we'll see the softer compounds, either the medium or the soft tyre. So strategy may be key. It's all about getting that timing right to opt for the crossover. But it looks like Finn Marcus putting a little bit of pressure on JCol right on his gearbox all the way around the formation lap, just letting him know, yep, I am here. So it'll be interesting to see how much risk versus reward that a lot of these drivers will opt for in the first opening corners of the race, Malc.
We'll have to wait, yeah, absolutely, and we'll have to wait and see who will try and win the first race for Group 1 tonight at the glorious race of the Circuit Jules Villeneuve. So all the drivers are all coming up to the starting grids now, and just try and see when the lights are going to go on. And also we are about to start 1 lights, 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 red lights, and we are go! Wait and see what's going to happen.
Yeah, a little bit of a delay there, Malc, but it's a good start off the line from Finn Marcus. Tries to get up alongside, outside of the McLaren, but JCol, I thought he had him covered off, but Finn Marcus goes up the inside at turn 2 and takes the lead. There's a little bit of pressure from Jack Hickey behind in the Ferrari on JCol for second.
Absolutely, what a great start for the top 3 drivers, but there was also a good battle for Polytrev and Tinus in the mid-pack as well. And looks like Tim Mans has gone ahead onto 8th place. So good move there, but Smoking Aces is dropping down to 9th. But good start, Craig.
Yeah, absolutely lightning start from Finn Marcus. Throws it round outside of JCol on the approach to turn 1. That gave on the inside for turn 2 and the advantage, but Nelly drops down 2 positions to 4. So Jack Hickey got the jump on Nelly as well, and Eric Pancakes currently in 5th as well.
Absolutely. So this is absolutely vital for Marcus to do an unbelievable start, and he has done against JCol, but hopefully JCol can bounce back as quickly as possible. But at the moment we've got yellow flags at the 3. That is Smoking Aces. So something must happen at the hairpin corner, Craig. Oh my god, JCol has nearly lost it at the World Champions. His back end just went, Craig.
Yeah, just the back of the car complaining a little bit under power. Good save there from JCol. Jack Hickey allowed to close up the gap, but Nelly 1 second behind Jack Hickey as well. So it looks as if the top 4 drivers are making a little break for it, as Eric Pancakes trying to hold on to the top 4 drivers, but disaster there for Smoking Aces as he's opted to pit. Looks as if it's going to be a change in front wing there, Malc.
Oh, okay, so something must have happened. Oh my god, there's a crash! There's a crash! Davey has spun and hit the wall. So he's dropped down to 10th. He will have to have a front wing change, unfortunately for him. So
yeah, and Party Trev gets the move done, and Eric Pancakes at the chicane of turns 8 and 9. Oh, Eric Pancakes! There's contact between himself and Tinnis from behind. So Renault and McLaren making contact there at the exit of turn 9. as David retires from the session, so not the start the Racing Point driver wanted, as Nitrogash goes up the inside at the hairpin of turn 10. So Nitrogash allowed to make the move on his teammate. Eric Pancakes moves up to 7th place here, Malc.
Absolutely, so it might be a strategic move for the fastest setup. It could be, or it might be because Eric Pancakes has just got himself into the pits. That's probably why as well.
Yeah, Eric Pancakes made contact with the barrier after getting a little tap from behind from Tennis, so Eric Pancakes resulting in allowing his teammate Nitrogash to pass, so that's both Eric Pancakes and Tennis optional in the pits for brand new front wings.
Absolutely, so the only casualty at the moment who is DNF'd is Davey 46, so he is out of the Invictus Cup for race 1. So we're just watching JCol now getting close to Marcus now, so 3/10. Good back. We might see. Could we see these two battling out for the remainder of the next 2 races after tonight? That's what we'd like to see, Craig. Do you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. We did see a little bit of wheel-to-wheel action at the race start, but JCol will be looking to make up for that, as he's got a little bit of a tow from Finn Marcus as he approaches the end of the lap at turns 13 and 14. But I'm sure JCol will be in fuel-saving and ERS-saving mode, just waiting to get close enough and maybe make a little dive up the inside at the heavy braking zones.
Absolutely, and it's vital for Marcus to keep it consistent, keeping it cool and calm, because at the moment JCol is putting a lot of pressure on Marcus, but it looks like he's doing a still of a job at the moment. So this is the only battle we have got at the moment on lap 435 of the Invictus Cup, sponsored by Nail Coat Hall and also partnered by Grid Finder. Please check him out, guys. Please check him out as well. So, but yeah, it's a bit unlucky from Davey 46 and Smoking Aces, who have had a bit of a bad start, as well as Eric Pancakes and Tillis. So what do you reckon there'll be a safety car tonight?
I was actually surprised that we didn't see a safety car after the retirement of David 46. Or even a VSE, so the marshals must have got that car off the circuit reasonably quickly to allow these guys to continue racing. But it looks as if JCol and Finn Marcus are making a break for it. They've opened up a gap of 1.3 seconds of Jack Hickey behind, who's also looking to drop Nelly, who's now 1.6 seconds behind. So it looks as if we're going to have 2 groups here, as it's the first penalty of the race for Jack Hickey for multiple warnings for track boundaries, track limits.
Absolutely, he's going to be absolutely careful, because it could cost him at the end of the race. That's going to be absolutely crucial, unless the top 2 drivers have got penalties as well, and it'll make it a little bit equal as well. But yeah, Craig, on that point of 35, it's going to be interesting, because obviously this is the only battle we've got at the moment, but with Polytrev doing a good move a couple of laps ago, he's only 6 seconds behind Nelly, but do you think with his pace he might catch up to him? Or do you think there'll be a few shocks with Nitrogash having a good start as well?
Prix just settles into the race and...
Sorry to interrupt you there, Craig. There's a 2-wide scenario at the hairpin corner. It looks like JCol nearly trying to make the move on Marcus, but now he's got a chance to go down the straight. So let's see how JCol can try and do.
Yeah, it looked as if JCol was looking for the switchback at turn 10. Finn Marcus very wise to it, but both of these drivers are going to have to be mindful they don't cost themselves too much time, because that will allow Jack Hickey and Nelly to come back into play and challenge them.
Absolutely, but JCol is not giving up this position at all. We got this battle going, and we also got Team Mans and Nitrogash for 6th and 7th place. That's the only 2 closest battles we have got. But at the moment, we're battling out, watching this battle between Marcus and JCol. But I do apologise, Craig, for interrupting on that battle. But what was you going to say about the answer I was mentioning about?
Yeah, I was just remarking that Nitro Gas just beginning to close down Tin Man's. Tin Man's getting a little bit out of shape out the final corner there. That's allowing Nitro Gas to start closing him down within a 1 second gap. So he'll be hoping to keep within that window once we start crossing over to dry conditions and we see that DRS becomes activated. But JCol struggling with a little bit of the front of the car under braking, locking up the front right tyre as it gets unloaded into turn 10. So JCol just needs to be a little bit patient and just tuck in behind Finn Marcus, getting a little bit of the slipstream and possibly getting it done under braking. But now Nitrogas cuts the gap down to 7/10 of a second between himself and Tin Man's.
Craig, DRS is enabled. So I will not be surprised if these guys can go for the hard tyres to try and go as long as possible to finish off. Well, they're going for the medium tyres actually for some of these drivers. So medium tyres is the way forward. That's quite interesting because the rain, as you can see from in the screen at the moment too, but majority of drivers are already going in. They're not messing about, Craig. They are not messing about with this. They want to try and get a good start, but the rain is not as bad as earlier on at the start of the race, Craig.
Yeah, drivers possibly just opting for pace rather than distance at this stage. So that'll be a double pit stop there, I imagine, possibly going for the softs at the end, hoping to pick up the extra point for the fastest lap. So as normal service resumes, Finn Marcus leads the race, opened up the gap a little bit now to JCol to 1 second. So Marcus needs to really get a shift on getting outside the DRS activation window. But Jack Hickey's going to have to be careful with nearly behind, particularly with that 3 second penalty as well, as Tinnis Optional now picks up a 3 second penalty.
So yeah, he hasn't pitted yet, Tinnis, so he will have to go back in. But it looks like Smoking Aces is in the pits. Oh, he's just come out, I do apologise, he has just come out on the hard tyres. Yellow flag set to 1. Yellow flag set to 1. What has happened?
Yeah, it looks as if it's Smoking Aces, possibly no temperature in the hard tyres as he leaves the pit lane. So Smoking Ace is going to have to be very mindful of the leaders coming up behind. He'll need to get out the way very quickly as JCol now gets himself within the DRS window, the gap down to 0.8 of a second. But Tinnis yet to pit, staying on the intermediate tyres.
That's quite interesting, Craig, considering it says DRS is now enabled. So something Tinnis might be thinking, he might be hoping that they'll try and hold on a little bit longer and then go and then switch on. But it looks like
he's actually just coming into the pits now, Malc. So maybe just tried to go a little bit longer, feeling that the track was still a little bit too damp for the dry tyre compound. But JCol down to 0.4 of a second, coming through the hairpin. He needs to get a great exit out of here. He should have the toe and the DRS. Oh, lit up the rear tyres. A little bit of loss of rear traction. That allows Finn Marcus to open up the gap a little bit, but he'll have a double chance at him down the main straight if he can close up the gap on the exit of the chicane. Careful not to clip the wall of champions. Certainly don't want to lose an end plate here, but Finn Marcus certainly used the mistake from JCol to his advantage, opening up that gap. But JCol will come back on the attack on the next lap here too.
Wait and see, but it looks like it went Marcus, then JCol, and then now Jack Hickey, who's got the fastest lap of the race on lap 9 of 35 of the Invictus Cup, sponsored by Nailcoat Hall and also partnered by Gridfinder as well. So
it looks as if Jack sorry Malc, but it looks as if Jack Hickey's got a little bit of an incentive here. He's seen JCol light up his rear tyres on exit of 10, and he's right on the gearbox of JCol. So JCol is going to have to look backwards as well as forwards here.
Well, yeah, definitely, absolutely. But Marcus could have an opportunity to get close to Smoking Aces and hopefully get that DRS, because at the moment he's going to be under a lot of pressure from JCol. But this is going to be the DRS train, Craig. This is going to be the Marcus DRS train. So he's going to be absolutely spot on with the chicane. Otherwise, it's going to be... Oh, come on! Perfect! all three drivers are perfect past the world champions. Now XL trying to put on a lot of pressure, but nothing of that. So 310s, Craig, 310 still with this battle for the top three.
Yeah, Smoking Aces gets right out of the way, allowing the top three drivers to fight it out on track, and this is what I've been hoping for before we even started qualifying. Some great on-track racing between some very talented drivers. So Jack Hickey will need to try and get a move done on the two drivers ahead of him, and then open up a 3-second gap if he's any chance of taking the race victory here tonight.
Absolutely. But while this battle's going on, Craig, I would watch out for Nelly, because he's going to catch up to this top three battle if these three are still within the pack itself. So that's the big question of it all. Can Nelly catch up to these top three? That's the big question. Can he try and do it, Craig?
And if he closes in close enough, Malc, he may even try and risk an undercut to these top three drivers and try and get a jump on them later on in the race. So, still all to play for as we begin lap 11 of 35.
So lap 11:35, JCol has got the fastest lap at now with a 1:13.7. Smoking Aces has got a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. It looks like Marcus, I don't know if you've seen that, Craig, it looks like Marcus has got the better exit of the chicane, while JCol is just trying to be absolutely delicate not to hit that world champions, well, as much as possible, because otherwise I think he's just worried that he doesn't want to get hit by that world champions, and also try and close up to Marcus as well.
Yeah, that could come down to how we set up the car as well, Matt, wanting to prioritise rear traction and getting that better exit out of the corners, but it's certainly leaving them with an advantage over XL JCol as both drivers continue to fight for the lead of the race.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, well, the gap between third and fourth now is 4.2. It was 3.4, but Nelly did have a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. So, but yeah, this has been an absolute brilliant race for the top three drivers in the Invictus Cup for Group 1, Race 1 on at the Circuit Jules Villeneuve. So Marcus is good now, got the fastest lap of the race now with 1:12.720. So he's really going to have to step up a massive gear now. So brilliant stuff from these top three, Craig.
Yeah, and the gap opening up a little bit between second and third there. Jack Hickey dropping to 0.8 of a second behind XL JCol. He's going to have to be careful not to fall too much outside the DRS window if he's wanting to keep a hold of these two guys ahead.
Absolutely, you've got to be, cannot make any silly mistakes at all. The only closest battle outside the top three at the moment, the only one that's going to be close could be Nigagash with a 1.7 seconds of a gap. But yeah, interested to see if he can try and close into Tin Man's. Now XL with that locking brake, locked up at the hairpin corner. Now down the straight, needs to have a good exit of the DRS. This is absolutely crucial. So I'm just going to watch it from this point of view to see how far he's gaining. 3/10, could be 2/10 in a moment. Now goes to the chicane part. And he's doing.
JCol will have another run at him. Going to run down towards turn 1. Who's going to be the last of the late breakers? Oh, JCol had a little think about it and backed out of it. But so far, Finn Marcus looks to have the measure of XL JCol, particularly out of turn 10. So they're getting the better traction out of the hairpin. Is certainly saving them from the DRS of XL JCol.
Absolutely, and I've been really impressed. I've been really impressed with Marcus after that start. But now he could have a chance to miss out on first place. Party Travis got a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Marcus is looking back and thinking, what is XL JCol going to try and do? He's going to, a bit of a late braking at the hairpin corner. Now the DRS. This is the opportunity now for XL to try and push on. But it looks like Marcus, with that, trying to get that slipstream away. He's trying to save that ERS as much as possible. Smoking Ace has got a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Too wide up the chicane. And brilliant move there from XL JCol. Brilliant move there, Craig.
Yeah, look, the Finn Marcus had run out of ERS there to defend. Nothing that he could do against JCol there. But looks like Finn Marcus just needs to reset, recharge the ERS, stick within the DRS window and just do the same to JCol as was done on him. But Jack Hickey still holding on to that 7/10 gap. He may actually be playing the long game here, Malc, just sitting in behind the the front runners of this race and just allowing them to run their fuel down, run their ERS down, and maybe just try and get that pounce late on in the race.
Absolutely, and Marcus now has got a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings, so he is in with the crew of the penalty as well. So we're just watching Nitrogash now. He was by 5/10, Craig. He was 5/10 to close the gap onto Tin Man's, who's outside. This is the only battle outside of the top three. But it's just been immense battle and immense driving from the top three, Craig.
Yeah, top three have given us all the entertainment so far, but Nitrogas looking to line up the Mercedes of Tin Man's. He was getting a little bit out of shape at turn 9, and that might have given Nitrogas a bit between the teeth, and it'll come down to who gets the better exit. Out of 10, Nitrogas just tucking in behind the Mercedes, getting that slipstream down towards the final turn. DRS open. Does he have enough straight line speed and length of the circuit? It's going to be a last minute dive, but Nitrogas considers waiting to the next lap. You just use up the DRS, save ERS and fuel, and just wait to the next lap there, Malc.
With that, he's the most experienced driver at Invictus with the Performance League and like the F4, F3. He's also constructor champion for F4 2 seasons ago. So what does he have to do to get past Tin Man's, who used to race against him in F4 2 seasons ago?
I think it's just continuing to do what he's done so far. He's managed to cut down the gap from 1.6 seconds to 0.5. He just needs to continue to pick up the DRS, save the ERS when he needs it, get the better exit out of turn 10. I'd probably say that's his best chance for an overtake, but a slow exit out of 9 there, that allows Tin Man's to open up. Can Nitrogas close the gap down under braking and get the better traction out of 10? But it looks as if Tin Man's has got a big enough window to save himself, but Tin Man's struggling for straight line speed there, tries to break the toe, so Tin Man's could be running low on ERS. Nitrogas gets the move done, so it looked as if Nitrogas might have had to wait for another lap, but manages to get the move done, and Tin Man's moves up to 6th place.
Nitrogas in 6th place, Tin Man's drops down to 7th, but that has been a good battle from Nitrogas and Tin Man's. So going back to the top two, Jack Hickey has dropped back a bit of the top two from I think it was from 7/10 to now 1.4, but now it's just slowly creeping up to the top two. Must have been either had a mistake or he's had ERS, must have had low ERS, but at the moment JCol, who started off in pole position, he is going himself back into the lead after that battle from Marcus at the start of the race. Brilliant stuff, and JCol is now improving with a fastest lap with a 1:11.727. Craig.
Yeah, and Tin Man's looking to come back on Nitrogas as well, looking to repeat the... Oh! No! Tin Man's all out of shape there as he asks for the power from Mercedes, but the rear tyres were saying no, definitely not today, and that allows Nitrogas to open up a 1 second gap, trying to break the DRS zone. It looks as if Smoking Aces may... I thought Smoking Aces may have retired from this race as there was yellow flags on the main straight there.
I think there was some debris at the Wall of Champions, Craig. There was some debris at the Wall of Champions, so it might be... I'm going to have a look at Smoking Aces.
Yeah, he's blocking his front, the left end plate, so a little bit of damage on that Red Bull, and he's got Nitrogas and Tin Man's approaching from behind, so Smoking Aces is going to have to pull aside again and allow 2 more drivers to pass.
I feel sorry for Smoking Aces and David 46 at the moment, because you don't want to have you don't want to have a bad start in the Invictus Cup, especially when everything's riding with your teammates as well. So hopefully they'll bounce back in race 2 next week. But what do they have to do, Craig, to try and get everything?
Although it's not the race that they would hope for, and maybe one of those races that you want to forget, they'll still secure points, and they still have an advantage on drivers that weren't able to attend tonight. So they're still accumulating points for their team, and that's the right thing to do at this stage. And I'm sure there'll be more drivers that can't attend the races throughout the Cup at some point. So as long as they finish the race, they will secure points.
Absolutely. Hopefully it will be massive points for them. But I was just worried because of that bad start that they had. Hopefully that doesn't damage their confidence in coming up to the next 2 races in the Invictus Cup as well. So that's the big point of it all. Marcus had a great exit through the chicane, getting close to JCol again by 6/10. So and the sky is opening up a little bit, Craig. So this is going to be interesting for the next 17 laps.
Yeah, and with the sun coming out, track temperature will increase, and we'll start to see those lap times coming further down as we burn off fuel load, as well as Finn Marcus locks up that front left tyre as it unloads at turn 6. So Finn Marcus trying to maybe push the car beyond its limits a little bit, trying to close the gap down to JCol, lining them up again as we approach a little bit of traffic ahead of JCol. That is JCol's teammate, Tennis Optional, as JCol locks up on the entry at turn 10. So Tennis may offer his teammate a little bit of a tow. And pulls over to the side there and just allows him JCol and Finn Marcus to pass through.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Finn Marcus just trying to keep in the toe of JCol as he locks up again. So he has to be careful there, Malc, that he's not actually burning through his tyres. He doesn't want to come into the pits earlier than he'd anticipate. I'm sure he'll be hoping to go into the soft tyre at the end of the race.
Absolutely, and it's going to be vital that they're going to get this spot on with the tyre management. And the softs do not, and I repeat, they don't. I feel like they don't last long, but especially at Canada, it's not as bad as like China or Spain, where the tyre deg is absolutely atrocious, shall we say. But hopefully these guys can manage their tyre wear and hopefully they've got the perfect setup to get the management spot on as well. We've got Smoking Aces who've got another time penalty. We'll just give you a bit of an update of the everyone's had at least one stop. So the biggest mover is Nudge Gash with 5 positions, so well done to him at the moment. And then we've got the biggest losers, which is Tinnis and Smoking Aces, as well as Davey, who have dropped down with 4 positions. And Davey obviously dropped down 1, but he's out of the race in the Invictus Cup. So Craig...
Yeah, Finn Marcus actually boxes for a fresh set of medium tyres, possibly looking to do the undercut on JCol. So Finn Marcus doesn't feel that he can get it done on circuit, and he's trying to use anything that he can to his advantage, but it's going to come down to JCol. Can he extend this run, going for the overcut and possibly crossing over to the soft tyres, or does he pit at the end of this lap and go for the medium tyres? We'll certainly find out soon. But Jack Hickey moves up to 2nd. Finn Marcus tucks in behind on 3rd, with Nelly in 4th, who is also pitted for a fresh set of mediums with Party Trev in 5th. Rytrigash is 2nd, Tin Man 7th, Eric Pancakes 8th, Tennis Option Neil in 9th, Smoking Aces, who's currently in 10th.
Brilliant stuff. So JCol, will he try and go into the pits? No, he's going. He'll keep going.
Yeah, he's going for the overcut, Malc, so he's extending this run, opening up the gap, hopefully, between himself and Finn Marcus, possibly planning to go on the soft tyres at the end of the race here, Malc.
Absolutely, but as I said earlier on, do you think with the soft tyres it's going to be beneficial? Obviously it's going to be a little bit quicker. Marcus has just gone past Jack Hickey, who's also in the pits, So Marcus with that fresh medium tyres, but do you think that's going to cost JCol near the end with those the changing the tyres with the overcut as well?
I think if he opts for the softs, I think any time that he's lost on this stint will be made up by the advantage that he'll gain from the soft tyres, particularly in the traction. His tennis option, he loses it on the straight between turn 7 and 8 and retires from the session, and that brings out the virtual safety car. So will we see JCol opt for the pits under virtual safety car, which restricts the pace of Finn Marcus and Jack Hickey behind? And it does. So JCol using the VSC to pit, and it doesn't cost him as much as he would if he'd pitted without yellow flags on circuit there, Malc.
Absolutely, he's on the softs. He's on the softs. Marcus is coming up to the chicane now. So he's coming up to the chicane part. DRS is enabled. He's back up now. Virtual safety car has ended.
And JCol actually managed this to perfection, where he'll actually stay out on track on the preferred tyre ahead of his rival behind, who's on fresh medium. So JCol, a master stroking strategy there.
Absolutely, what a decision, what a strategic move to get himself get a bit longer on the mediums, which we was worried when was going to be the safety car, the virtual safety car, or something to get himself a good advantage. But now, with those soft tyres, he's got a good advantage to pull away as much as possible. But brilliant stuff there from JCol. Marcus will be thinking, what does he have to do now to get close to JCol? But I think the only strategic thing is definitely the safety car, but at the moment we can't see that happening because all the drivers have all massive gaps now from each position.
Yeah, I think all Marcus can do is really plan for second place at the moment. He's going to find life very hard if he's hoping to catch down JCol on fresh soft tyres. The gap already at 2.2 seconds, so I don't see Marcus being able to close that gap unless JCol literally destroys those soft tyres.
It looks like I doubt that very much, but then again Nelly's got the fastest up the race with 1:10.201. But as I say, in F1 you never ever write anyone off until you cross that finish line, because we have seen during our times in the Invictus Racing League there's been absolute shocks, and I mean absolute shocks. You may think that a person that could have the fastest lap, could have the fastest tyre, could have a massive gap and push on, but if they make one silly mistake, that's it. That's going to cost them, and it could be the driver that you did not expect them to win could produce it, and we have seen it a few times, Craig.
Yeah, absolutely, but I don't imagine JCol.
Sorry, Craig, I do apologise. Party Trev.
Yeah, looks as if he's lost it down at turns 4 and 5 there, Malc. A little bit of off-camber corners just caught Party Trev out. Question is, does he have damage on that front wing? Doesn't look as if he has, so hopefully he can just continue on his way. But Party Trev has actually just come out of the pits and put on fresh medium, so tyres probably not up to temperature. Just trying to get them back up to race temperature there. But scary moment there from Party Trev.
Yeah, I bet he was under pouring a lot of sweat as well, because he doesn't want to lose so much time. He's already lost a few times. Lost a few seconds to Tin Mans who were getting close. So now it just depends on how Tin Mans does. He's just keep going. He's not pitted yet, so he's going to be going on, which I think some of the drivers are going to go on for the sauce. Eric Pancakes has got a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane, so he'll be fuming. He'll be fuming at that. So just having a look at the penalties now. So at the moment, Smoking Aces is got 15 seconds. Party Trev and Marcus has got 3 seconds. Every Pancakes has got 5 seconds, and Jack Hickey has got 6 seconds worth of penalties. Craig.
Yeah, just looking at the gap currently between JCol and Finn Marcus, it's now up to 3 seconds here, so I think both drivers will probably just settle into a rhythm for the final 9 laps of the race and just take the points that they're sitting with at the moment, as well Jack Hickey. I don't imagine these drivers will be pushing flat out each lap. They won't want to risk any damage to that car, which would take points off them, Malc, particularly when we've got 2 crucial races coming up with drivers returning as well. So they'll be opting to secure as much points for their teams at this point of the group, and just bring those cars home in one piece.
Absolutely, and they try and get those decent points as well. So, if you just joined us, good evening to you all. Hope everyone's all okay and well. And this is the first race at the Circuit Jules Villeneuve for Group 1, Race 1 for the Invictus Cup. But if you not know how the Invictus Cup works, Craig, you want to go through the format again, just for the newcomers in case they've missed it from the start?
Yeah, just to remind drivers that the Invictus Cup consists of 10 teams, each team consisting of 1 driver per tier. So we do have drivers of various pace on the track tonight, all looking to accumulate points for their teams, with the hope of moving on to the knockout phase and then the final in June. But JCol leading his team in first place, looking to secure the race win in lap 27 of 35, followed by Finn Marcus 3.2 seconds behind as Jack Hickey completes the possible podium positions and third for Ferrari.
Absolutely. Tim Mans and Nigel Gus are in the pits, so they're both in the pits, but they have got the softs, they have got the soft tyres on, so they should be getting close to Trev, who's just come past the first corner. So Nigel Gus is just coming out of the pits now. This is a chance for Nigel Gus to get himself back up to 5th and try and close the gap as much as possible. But it's a massive gap between Trev and Nelly, with nearly 40 seconds, Craig. 40 seconds as well.
Yeah, as well as closing down Trev, Nitrogas might also be thinking about the extra point for fastest lap, as well Tin Mans as well. So although they're currently sitting 6th and 7th, they may put a little bit of pressure on Trev securing an extra position, but also that crucial extra point, Malc, for the fastest lap of the race.
Absolutely, but at the moment, Craig, Nelly has got the fastest lap at the moment with a 1:10.201, so we'll not be surprised.
And just exits the pits as well, Malc, on fresh softs.
So this is going to be interesting now, because we would be interested to see if we might see the 108. Could we see the 109s, 108s for the fastest lap, would you say?
Well, with fuel load burning off, fresh set of tyres on a very well rubbered in circuit, it is possible to see times as close as possible to the qualifying times that we'd seen prior. So we may see times coming down the low 1 minute 9s, maybe mid 1 minute 8s.
Absolutely, but it'll be good. It'll definitely be good for Nelly, but it just all depends on all the other drivers to be absolutely consistent. I'm just still watching Nitrogas to try and see if he can try and improve his time on the soft tyres. So if you like what you've seen so far, guys, please make sure you like and subscribe to the Invictus Racing League YouTube channel for all the live races of the Invictus Cup, which is sponsored by Nailcoat Hall and also partnered by Grid Finder as well. We are aiming for at least 10 likes, guys. Please give us at least 10 likes tonight for tonight's racing as well. So Craig, I mean, we come up to the end of the first race of Group 1. What's been impressing? What has impressed you so far in this race?
Certainly Nelly's pace, current Formula 4 Drivers' Champion, up there. It was, punching above his weight a little bit, up qualifying with the top tier drivers. So Nelly certainly a driver to look out for in the second and third races of the group, and maybe even later on in the competition as well. So and we will see his first lap on his fresh softs as well. So will we get close to the 1 minute 8s, 1 minute 9s that we were speaking about? But Nelly definitely impressive, improving an asset to his team.
Absolutely, and he's just come up to the finishing line, or the crossover line, at 109.530, Craig. 109.530. Impressive time from Nelly.
Yeah, that's earned an extra point as well as fourth place at the moment for Nelly. So Nelly and Party Trev, both teammates, securing fourth and fifth.
Absolutely. Just trying to look. So JCol is in first place at the moment. Marcus is in second. Jack Hickey, who's in third. You got Nelly, who's in fourth. You got Party Trev, who's in fifth. Nigel Gash is in 6th, Tim Mans is in 7th, Henry Pancakes is in 8th, Smoking Aces is in 9th. Tinnis and Dave E46 is the only ones who have had the DNF during this race. So Smoking Aces also got another 5 seconds stop for speed in the pit lane as well. So not a good day for Smoking Aces tonight, Craig.
No, it's definitely a race for Smoking Aces to forget. Just looking at the penalties at the moment, Malc, Nitric Ash is within that window of overtaking Party Trev under penalties. Party Trev has a 3-second time penalty. Nitric Ash 2.4 seconds behind. So Nitric Ash just needs to sit on Party Trev's gearbox, but I'm sure Nitric Ash would prefer an overtake.
I've known him for many years, Craig. He's not going to wait behind, he's going to go for it. When he gets close to Poitras, he's going to go for that overtake, and he wants to do it on track. He doesn't want to do it like after penalties. He wants to try and get ahead into 5th, Craig.
Yeah, I think you're right, Mal. Just looking at the timing delta between himself and Party Trev now down to 1.7 seconds, so he's took about 2 seconds off Party Trev ahead in 5th over the last 2 or 3 laps. Certainly got the pace over Party Trev, who's on 7 lap holding mediums. So Nitric Ash will just wait to get in behind, get the better traction from the fresh set of rubber on the soft tyres, the better tyres than Party Trev ahead, and possibly even do this under DRS as well. So a lot of options for Nitric Ash as we near the end of the race, and he has 3 laps left to do it.
Absolutely, he got enough to finish up the race anyway, but even so, yellow flags on sector 2 into 3. That is, I believe that's Tim Mans. Tim Mans has dropped down to 8.
Tin Man's had an issue. He's actually facing the wrong way on the circuit, gets the car turned around, but those tyres will be very overheated and he'll be struggling for grip. He needs to be careful through turn 10. They'll cool down on that run down towards turn 13, but another moment for Tin Man's.
Absolutely, but that's going to be it's going to be damage limitations for Tim Mans if it's going to cost him and the points. I know they're close to each other now, but Eric Pancakes, who was massively was behind, he's now got ahead of Tim Mans after that mistake. So I'm not saying it can be decided by the first race, but the points mean prices, as we always say, Craig. Points mean prices for these drivers.
Yeah, and the only saving grace that Tin Mans has over Eric Pancakes ahead is that Eric Pancakes has a time penalty. So if Tin Mans can get close enough, he may actually still snatch 7th from Eric Pancakes.
Absolutely. Smoking Ace has got another 3-second time penalty for more points. He's got to be absolutely careful not to get a DSQ in the first race of the Invictus Cup. And Nigel Gash, 1.1 seconds now, Craig. 1.1 seconds of the gap to Poitras, and this is the old battle that we have always had from F4 to F3. Nigel Gash and Poitras always was getting close in the qualifying, but in the battles in the racing, it's always been the same. So it'd be good to see if Nigel Gash can pull off a move to get past Poitras as quick as possible before the soft tyres. I don't know, the soft tyres will last, but he just wanted to get it done and dusted, Craig.
Yeah, Nitrogash now within the DRS window. It was just underneath the 1 second gap, opened up a little bit as he approaches the hairpin. Goes deep into 10. Patratrev opens up the gap a little bit, so Nitrogash looking to get a little bit closer in the final lap of the race. But as we said, he does not need to pass Patratrev as he will move up to 5th after time penalties have been applied at the checkered flag.
Absolutely. I'm just having a quick look at the... Yes, so JCol's coming up to the final. He's just coming past the chicane of, after the War of Champions, so he's going to be on for his final lap, and he has crossed on the line for his final lap of the Invictus Cup as well. Sponsored by Now Coat Hall, and also partnered by Gridfinder as well. So Nitrogash, come on, let's see what he can try and do.
What's crucial here, Malc, is that JCol will have to manage that gap between between Nitrogash and Patratrev ahead, as well as watch Finn Marcus behind. So JCol won't want to get too close to the Renault and the Williams ahead, but also doesn't want to negate any of that gap advantage it has to Finn Marcus behind. So JCol probably just going to cruise these final few corners and take that checker flag for the opening race of the Invictus Cup.
Absolutely, and what a stellar of a job from JCol. After that struggling start from Marcus, who did a stellar of a job to hold on, but could not do it in that issue of time as well. So here we go, JCol just coming past the Wall of Champions now, and he's absolutely delighted because he has just won race 1 of Group 1 of the Invictus Cup as well. Marcus will finish off in 2nd place. Jack Hickey will definitely finish off in 3rd place, so we'll get JCol, Marcus and Jack Hickey for their podium questions later on. We've got Nelly just coming up to 4th place. Yellow flag set to 3. That is, I believe, Smoking Aces. So Smoking Aces will try and close the gap. But while we're watching that, we'll still watch this battle between Patratrev and Nitrogash. Can Nitrogash finally be able to get past him on track? But I think he's definitely want to try and push on massively to try and get past. Still yellow flags on sector 3. So just try and see what's going to happen. Looks like try and see if Nitrogash can try and push on massively. I don't know what's happened to Nelly. Nelly just went slow down massively on the start finishing on straight. He must have made a mistake. But now Nitrogash is getting close to Patratrev. Patratrev will have to try and hold on. He'll be... So Nitrogash will finish off in 5th after penalties, but Patratrev will drop down to 6th. So that was an alright race, to be fair, Craig. And driver of the day is Nitrogash, based on the race itself today. So brilliant job from JCol, and well done to also Marcus and Jack Hickey for their podium finishing as well. Absolutely stellar of a job from these drivers tonight. Brilliant drive from the start, and brilliant racing overall. We will get the classifications in a moment too, and we'll get to hear Craig's thoughts of the racing at the Circuit Jules Villeneuve. Here are your race classification for the Canadian Grand Prix. For the Invictus Cup Group 1, Race 1 results. You got JCol who's in 1st. You got Marcus is in 2nd. Jack Hickey in 3rd. Nelly 4th. Nitrogash 5th. Patratrev in 6th. Tim Mans 7th. Eric Pancakes 8th. Smoking Aces in 9th. Tinus and Davey 46 are the only ones who have had the DNF tonight. We will be right back for the interview. So don't go away, guys. We'll be right back to bring JCol, Marcus and Jack Hickey into the interview. So don't go away, guys. We'll be right back. Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to the Invictus Cup, which is sponsored by Nowcoat Hall and also partnered by Gridfinder as well. This was the Group 1 Race 1. We have just finished that, and we have got the top three podium finishers of JCol, Marcus, and also Jack Hickey. But brilliant racing overall tonight, so I'm going to pass you over to Craig, who will be doing the interviews to the top three guys. So Craig, it's all yours.
Firstly, welcome to race winner XL JCol, second place driver Finn Marcus, and third place driver Jack Hickey. XL JCol, if I could come to you first, pole position at the end under a little bit of pressure. We saw that you maybe lost a little bit of traction coming out of turn 10, I believe that was, in your final run. Can you share some of your thoughts with us at that moment when you saw that a competitor had actually beaten you for provisional pole at the end of the session?
Well, I know that I had a bit of oversteer in the beginning, well, my first lap that I did, so I sort of just went a bit slow, get my battery back, and then just decided to sort of gear up for a second lap. Went for that second lap, and I feel like that's probably one of the better drives that I've done around Canada, in my opinion.
So when you crossed the line at the checker flag right at the end of qualifying, saw yourself taking pole position, what was your immediate reactions there after the previous lap's mishap?
Bit of relief, I will admit. Yeah, I was quite happy that I managed to get on there, and yeah, it was just, well, yeah, that's all I can really say. I was just glad that I managed to actually get it on pole and have a good race.
And it looked at the race start that Marcus was trying a little move round the outside at turn 1, managed to get the inside at turn 2. How did you approach the race as it unfolded to the point where you managed to overtake on the back straight?
Well, I was just sort of waiting for Marcus to use as much of his DRS as possible. When I started seeing that red flashing light, that's when I knew I had to try and go for it. Because I think I started about 50% at that point, so I knew that I could at least try and get him on a straight and then just try and sail away. I think I was just sort of all over the back of him for the majority of the time, and obviously fair play to Marcus as well. Yeah, I just felt like I just needed to get past him and then just try and do what I could.
And with the VSC coming out, when it did and you went on the soft tyres, was it always your strategy to go on the soft tyres near the end, or was it pretty much just reacting to the virtual safety car at the time?
No, it was definitely planned to go on a set of the softs, so I wanted to try and go from mediums to softs. I know Marcus did medium to medium, and I think Jack did that as well, but my initial plan was just to go mediums to softs on like lap 25, but the VSC came out and I thought it's probably best just to go now, just so I can at least jump up ahead of Marcus anyway. If that VSC didn't come out, I probably don't think I would have gotten ahead of him.
And with your teammate Smoking Aces having a tough night, as well as Tennis as well, and losing IRL PS tonight, is there any approach that the team will be taking ahead of next week's race to maximise points?
Just to try and do obviously what we did tonight, other than the few guys that had a few issues in the race. But for me personally, just try and do obviously what I did tonight. Hopefully it works out. Of course, also for Passe, Tennis and Smoking Aces, just to try and do as well as they possibly can, and hopefully we can get it. Hopefully we can be the top team.
Well, thank you and congratulations for securing the first win at the Invictus Cup tonight. If I can move on to yourself, Marcus, starting on second of the grid, a little bit of an attack on XL JCol between turns 1 and 2. When you managed to get that overtake done in the inside of turn 2, what was the strategy going on throughout the race, and how were you able to hold off XL JCol up until the point of the overtake?
Well, I have to say my setup wasn't too good for the wet, so I was sliding all around and waiting for him to overtake me. So.
And securing second as well as I'm just looking at who your team. Eric Pancakes down in 8th. It looks as if you've secured two driver points tonight. How will the team be approaching next week's race? And would you do anything different to try and secure the race victory from JCol and possibly Jack Hickey as well?
Well, today I have to say Exo had more pace than me, so maybe have a little bit of more practice and a better strategy overall, so I'm waiting for the next one.
And when you saw JCol leaving the pits at the end of the race on the soft tyres while you were on mediums, was it just a case of trying to hold on to second, or did you feel that you could have maybe closed the gap later on the race, hoping that the softs would have died off a little bit?
Well, I had a 3-second penalty, so I was just waiting for Exo to make a mistake and then maybe do something, but otherwise it was a pretty hopeless cause.
Thank you, Marcus, and congratulations on securing second in tonight's Canadian Grand Prix. If we move on to yourself, Jack, starting from 4th, managed to get the jump on Nelly up to 3rd place, and it looks as if you were putting pressure on JCol and Finn Marcus for a while. Was there any point where you felt you could have maybe pushed a little bit more? Because it looked as if you fell off a little bit nearing the middle and end of the race. Can you share about what happened at that point for us, Jack?
Well, I was sort of hoping that the top two would waste their ERS fighting each other. So I had quite a lot left, and I was just sitting behind thinking when I can attack. But sort of after the first pit stop, they started to pull away a little bit more, and I sort of realised I wasn't going to be able to catch him. And in the end, I just settled for what I had. The top two were unbelievably quick, and I don't know how the hell I'm going to catch up.
Next week we go to Austria, a track that's notoriously quick at times but can sometimes be tough on track limits, and hopefully you'll have a full complement of your team. Will you be taking the opportunity during the week to work out a team strategy to maybe cover off the two quicker drivers of JCol and Finn Marcus, to maybe use the team as a whole to attack those quicker drivers?
All we can do is do our best. If we can get anywhere near the top two tonight, then great. If not, I mean, it is what it is, but we'll do our best nevertheless. I can always improve myself, so hopefully I can get a little closer next week.
Thanks very much, Jack. Congratulations for finishing in 3rd tonight. Thanks, guys, for sharing your thoughts with us tonight. Congratulations on securing the top 3 positions. Look forward to next week in Austria.
Absolutely. Cheers for that, guys. I'd like to thank Craig for joining me with the commentary box. And like I said, Craig said we'll see you all next week for race 2 for Group 1. But yeah, cheers for that, guys. I'll speak to you soon. Take care of yourselves. Bye bye.